Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Casper Association community call, hosted and run by none other than the Casper Association. We are joined today by Piotr from Casper Association, Meda from Casper Labs, and David Tai from the Sensei Group. We will open up for a Q&A towards the end of the call, so you can leave your questions in the live YouTube comments down below this video, or you can drop them in our Telegram, and we'll try our best to answer those towards the end of the call. Thank you to everyone for joining in this week, and I'm handing it off to you, Piotr.
Thank you very much, Joe. And let's start with our usual round of news. So technical updates, as you can expect, we are working towards releasing 1.3. Now it's 1.31. So we already made the cut. It's available on our GitHub repository. You can check what are the exact technical release notes. With Meda, we already discussed on the last two meetings high-level goals for this release. So as for the timeline, it's very important to know that we are targeting mainnet, the testnet upgrade beginning of August, and then the following 2 weeks we will go for mainnet. So it's about to be happen. Currently, what we do internally is the performance and security tests that we do on our integration network, and when this will be signed off by our security team, and our engineering team will hand it over to validators on testnet. So,
well, it's actually already in testnet. So 1.3 is already in testnet. We already have enough quorum on testnet. Actually, within 24 hours, testnet's been just absolutely amazing. Within 24 hours, we already reached the 2/3 minimum stake required for the upgrade to go through. The activation point is for this Friday. So as of this Friday, 1.3.1 will be active on testnet. And with 1.3.1, we get NFTs, right? So that's the big thing, is the capability, the dictionary capability to support collections of a large number of items within a smart contract, as well as the call stack, get call stack function, right? So those are the two big things. You can learn about the release more on medium.com under Casper Association, where we have a plain English description of what is in 1.3 and why it's important. So back over to you, Piotr.
Thank you, Meda. And with that, we can move to Casper Live. So our both block explorers, Casper Live and Casper Stats, lets you to see what is the current status of the mainnet network. You see that the total stake is rising. So now we have around 6.5 billion of tokens staked, and you see that the numbers of validators is going up again. So these are who weren't updated. They are going back to the pool, and more are in the waiting queue. So current block height is 153,000. We have a lot of activity, and there's always the possibility to use Casper Live or Casper Stats also for staking. So we are encouraging you to check on the validators list. And with Casper Live, for instance, you can go with each validator, see what is the current commission rate for them, and delegate state using also the extension that we provide. So Casper Signer, with this extension, you can create your own keys. You can transfer the tokens from the exchange, for instance, to this account, and using this account and using the Casper Live site, it's very easy to delegate and check on your rewards. So just for instance, if we have delegators here, we can check how the transfer went through, what are the delegations, and what are the staking rewards. That could be also your case. We encourage you to check on the instructions. We put more and more materials. There are also dedicated channels on Telegram where you can, like an official staking channel, when you can check and see how you can stake your tokens with us. What is also interesting.
The super important thing about selecting a validator is you want to look at validator reputation. So you want to make sure that you're checking in on your validator, making sure that they have a great reputation, particularly around an upgrade point, right? So one of the things that Piotr mentioned is that we're back up to 98 validators. During the 1.2.1 upgrade, a bunch of validators didn't update in time and they were ejected from the protocol, right? So once you get 2/3 of stake with the upgrade point, then the balance will get ejected if by the activation point they're not ready because their protocol version doesn't match anymore. So make sure your validator is getting ready for the upgrade, right, and the update. And there's ways to do that, but communicate with your validator. There's an official Telegram staking channel. Make sure you're staying in communication with your validators. Validators are actually self-reporting. I have Piotr can share that where they're registering their identity. So this is a community-driven initiative from the folks that built Casper Stats. Is that correct? I think it is from Casper Stats.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, it's from the folks that built Casper Stats. They're looking to register information here. So, you can get to know, it's not just you that should go through KYC, your validator, you should know your validator, right? KVC, know your validator. So, or KYV, know your validator. So you should know your validator, know that they're going to provide you excellent service before you delegate to them. And remember, your delegations help drive the membership of validators in the network, right? Particularly as you get to some of the lower ranking validators, they're looking for delegations from you, the community. You want to pull your tokens off of exchanges and custody your own keys. We'll provide an update on our ledger integration today as well. Custodying your own keys and selecting a validator that's a lower in the ranks is how you materially vote for a validator and help them earn reputation and slot in the staking in the validator auction, right? So back over to you, Piotr.
Thank you. And as you mentioned, we have a lot of news for today, so I'll try to mention at least the most important ones. So let me check on the tabs. First of all, in 45 minutes, we have the seminar going on, so you can register here. The links will be provided for you. The next news is that Meta will be featured on the NFT Global Summit. This is happening soon as well. I think it's
Thursday. Yeah, the NFT Global Summit happens. It happens. My panel is on Thursday, but it's starting tomorrow. So yes. We do have discount codes. If you're interested in a discount code, reach out to us on Telegram and we'll see what we can do for you.
Great. Next is AWS roundtable discussion. So that's also hot news that came up today. Meda, any comments here?
Yeah, so we've got some very exciting news that's going to come out about our relationship with AWS and how Casper Labs and Casper, the technology and the protocol, is going to be partnering with AWS to provide very easy one-touch access to Casper nodes. This is super important for enterprises and for the public protocol as well, because it makes it really easy to spin up a Casper node, right? Both for prototyping and testing your smart contracts. While you don't need it, we do understand that a lot of people will want to spin up a couple of blockchain nodes to understand how the smart contract will work on a network. As you know, Casper contracts can be run and built locally within an IDE. But our partnership with AWS, we believe, is going to provide fantastic access to enterprise to use Casper technology, particularly for key use cases like NFTs, tokenization, right, and other decentralized contracts that enterprise is now looking to build on public protocols.
Right. Moving on. This is very interesting. So our hackathon that is happening starting from September 13th. With this, we are also starting the series of hands-on workshops. The first one will be happening this week. On Thursday, we will also send out the exact dates and invitations for that. So with this hackathon, we prepared a series of challenges. Also, we have good prizes. So please check on this link. You have a lot of information already included. And when you are confused or you would like to reach to us, don't hesitate. We'll provide you even more information. Just catch up with us on the Slack or the Telegram channels. Discord is also open.
Yeah, one of the things you want to know about is that Gitcoin is actually integrating CSPR. So we'll be able to do bug bounties or bounties in CSPR on Gitcoin. So that is part of this Gitcoin hackathon, is that they're actually integrating Casper, the Casper token, into Gitcoin as a platform.
All right. The next news is about Ledger. So we already mentioned that the security review is passed. So we had some minor things to improve. And I was checking with our lead developer responsible for Ledger integration, and he told me we have only a few points to check out, and we'll be submitting the final application to through the registration form that Ledger provides. So you can expect that this will be finalized very soon. When we have any exact dates, we will share this with you. All right. Then for the current status, we always ask what is going on the research front. Alexander, are you with us?
Yes. Well, first of all, we have made some significant progress on the generic auction that will, first application will be MetaCask, but this thing is usable for any CEP47 NFT. Basically, I have a version of it that compiles but requires a lot more testing and improvement. It currently handles English and Dutch formats. So on top of that, we are continuing to work on pricing gas. Furthermore, we are also starting to work on the intersection of zero-knowledge proofs and information disclosure models. Right, so this is more of a high-level project. This is being led by our doctoral intern, Mingzi. And finally, for one of our clients, I'm working on a relatively simple model of platform robustness to make sure that when they deploy a private network, they understand what are the risks that they have to consider, when they pick the number of nodes and how they're distributed across different clouds and so forth.
Great, thank you for the update. I'm just checking on my list of things to show to you. So first thing is to show how the verified validator look like. So you can go to Casper stats and you see that Everstake already went through this process. So we know who they are, and they have their own icon and more details available for you to check with them. And if more validators will go through this form, we'll see more data available. The same or similar process is also being handled by the Casper Association. So validator information standard. I think the more the merrier. It's the best for the community when they see the quality validators to identify themselves. So this process just started, and I think it will be quickly progressing. I see that I should also mention that Casper Web Wallet was also reviewed. We on the Gitcoin meta, I think you already mentioned that it's integrating the CSPR as well for the tokens. What's more, I think the next point is DevX DAO. Tim, are you with us?
I most certainly am, and I am happy to start sharing my view on things. If you okay, cool. We go to continue, and here we go. So it's been yet another amazingly impressive week in the DevX DAO, both following up on things that are that are continuing to go on, and still pushing through new things that are of salience to the network. The biggest thing that just recently worked its way through is the infrastructure for and development framework for the self-sovereign identity app developers. This one was one that went back and forth quite a bit, because, as it turns out, self-sovereign identity is kind of a big topic, kind of a big thing. And there's an absolutely incredible amount of information on there of all of the people who are going to be involved, and their quite detailed project plan, including a PDF showing resource outlays and everything. I'm not gonna go through all of those nitty-gritty details right now. But this is something that has been identified for community development, and this is where some grants are going to be heading to. Another thing is that we continue to make good on our promises to continue updating the MVPR, which is the portal that I'm showing to you right now, the front end and back end that fuels the dev DAO and makes it go. And towards that end, I can now proudly show that both the front end and the back end have been released to the community, and they are now fully open source. You don't necessarily need to worry about memorizing this URL. All of this is going to be coded into, or going to be cloned into the DevXDAO GitHub organization at github.com/DevXDAO, and you'll be able to simply find everything there. It's on my schedule to do today. So this is also an amazing bit of progress that's happened over the last week. And then as far as the progress with our continuing words are sometimes hard for me. Decentralization of the pool. We've onboarded another 3 voting associates over the last week, which brings us to overall 18. Whoops, it's 18 overall voting associates. We are in the process of using some of the new voices that we have to formalize our grants in a hyper public way, so everybody will be able to see precisely what a lot of our procedures are.
Hey Tim, can you answer a question for me? Because
yeah,
what does it mean when we have a voting associate? Like,
certainly.
can we define that? What are the implications? Every time we say we've added another voting associate, what does it take to become a voting associate?
Well, there are 3 ways so to be a voting associate, you have to have reputation in the DevXDAO ecosystem, and there's 3 ways you get reputation. One is the one the first one is the one how you become a voting associate, which is you do work. You put through a grant, you pass one of these milestones, and that proves that you can work. You can add value to the system, and at that point, right now anyway, when you pass your first milestone, you are up for consideration to become a voting associate. Ultimately, as we continue to go along, it will be completing the entire grant. But for right now, we're really interested in getting a lot more voices in the conversation and on our VA calls. And basically when somebody comes through, they complete a milestone and they've proven that they've added value to the ecosystem. That's what triggers them coming on as a voting associate. And precisely who you are, where you come from, what you do, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you have added value.
That's really cool. So, I mean, if we say we've got 18 voting associates, what we're basically saying is, since the launch of mainnet, we've got 18 individuals that have built something, that have completed a milestone, have actually delivered value towards the Casper ecosystem, or the decentralized ecosystem, to speak more broadly about it. And as a result have been voted on as voting associates, right? That's what that basically means, right?
Quite so, yeah.
And so then let's talk a little bit about how many individuals, like what is the pipeline for people that are waiting, that are currently working on grants that have not been completed yet, but we anticipate over the next 4 to 6 weeks that they'll complete their milestones and become voting associates. Do you have any visibility into what those numbers look like?
Do I ever? Because like the grants pending activation, the active grants. So basically, anytime you see down here, you have an active grant, but they don't have a milestone complete yet. That once that milestone gets completed, one of these milestones gets completed, that is somebody who can then be invited to become a voting associate. Being a voting associate is like nobody can force you to do that. It's not volunteerism in that there is a compensation strategy available for compensating voting associates for their time, talent, and expertise. But every single person that you see on here that has an active grant but has not completed a milestone yet, they're basically a voting associate in the making. And our overall goal and trajectory is to be at 30 voting associates by the end of the quarter. Precisely whether or not we're going to hit that, like I can't tell you what's going to happen over the next 2 months, but that is our goal, and that is our trajectory.
So do we have a count of the active grants? So how many active grants? There's quite a few.
Yeah, there's a lot, and a number of them already have milestones completed, which is how we have a number of other people in there. But like,
yeah,
like the ERC 1337 native implementation, Captain Bernardo Herzer, like he's already completed a grant on our milestone on a different one. He's already a voting associate. Ruben Daniels, we had him on a couple of weeks ago talking about memory. When he puts in his first milestone, we are very eager to pull him on. And this is the backlog of people that we already have in the system. There's also a couple of other things that are currently in discussion that are like, and we have also quite a pipeline of this. We've actually had to change our process a little bit recently to help us go talk to a lot of people more before we go into the voting process, just so we can get to know some of these folks, but some other folks we know very well, like Robert Carbone. He has taken almost 2 months. Like he was on my grant workshop calls basically the first week, and he's taken almost 2 months just to wrap his head around exactly what he wants to do for the Casper ecosystem and how he wants to handle an Erlang SDK. So he wants to bring in all of the Erlangers, who, by the way, Erlang is mostly the language that handles the most fundamental operations of the internet, and they have largely been sidelined in the decentralized community up to this point because there's no onboarding for them. So Robert is really excited with what the DevX DAO is doing, what Casper is doing, and he's putting his hand up and saying, I, as one of the most respected Erlang developers on the planet, want to go make this SDK and bring in this community. And we are like, yes. And by the way, can you get done sooner so we can invite you as a voting associate sooner? So yeah,
that's terrific.
This is the quality of some of the folks that we're looking at right here, and I could not be more excited. I know I get on here every week, and I always say I'm super jazzed, but that's because it's always true.
Sounds good, Tim. Should we move along? Let's get David Tai on here so he can talk about what he's building via the DevX DAO. Hey, David, good to see you again.
Good to see you again. So
over to you.
All right. So my name is David Tai. I'm CTO of Sensei Partners. Around 2 years ago, in partnership with Casper at Consensus, we put up a demo of a tool called BootNode, which was a infrastructure management dashboard and server. It was able to, well, as part of the demo, we had set up a large-scale Kubernetes network covering Europe, North America, Japan, and Korea. And we were able to demonstrate BootNode launching geolocated nodes for the Casper blockchain network, across the whole planet. So, and since then, we've been working on creating a open source production version of this tool. And our goal with it is to make it so anyone can deploy node infrastructure on any sort of technology, whether it be a large cloud provider like Amazon or Google, or a smaller data center, or your own hardware. So we recently put in and got approval for a grant through the dev DAO to get this work started. And yeah, that's where we are kind of at right now. The ultimate goal is to have a deliverable that anyone can download. They can hook it into whatever Kubernetes networks that they're using, and they can spin up nodes that are completely decentralized. So we don't have the problem of something like Ethereum, where I believe around 60 to 80% of the infrastructure is sitting on Amazon because Infura is what everyone uses, and that's a point of centralization. So we envision this tool to aid in the further decentralization of the crypto space, starting with Casper. So,
great. What are your what are your next points on your technical roadmap?
So our technical roadmap involves rewriting our original demo. Our original demo was not designed to be a proper open source project. What we envision is that we're going to take our back end and front end components and fully document them, fully document, fully test, develop educational materials on how to use this and optimally set up these environments, because you can create fairly complex topologies on these networks, because you might want to have redundancy across countries, you might have data sovereignty requirements. We're trying to make this really, really flexible. So this can be a tool that's available for both enterprise, large enterprise companies that want to diversify diversify and decentralize their infrastructure to mitigate risk, or just to be more decentralized, as well as smaller developers who want to just have an easy way of spinning up node infrastructure.
Great. And in terms of the timeline, how do you see this? When we can expect something to be for tests?
So this is a great question. As part of our grant proposal, we laid out a timeline for about 9 months, developed into 3-month milestones. The first milestone, which we project to be ready sometime in Q1 or early Q2 next year, would be a private, basically a private beta program for people who want to be early adopters and help us test and give us feedback on our product. For that initial private beta, we'll be targeting just the Casper main and testnets. In subsequent milestones, we will support being able to provide your own Genesis data, so you can create your own Casper infrastructure and your own blockchain for whatever purposes you want. And that will also coincide with the release of all the documentation and educational materials around it, as well as fully documented open source project. And then we will start transitioning to become a fully open source project where we're taking pull requests from the community and whoever wants to contribute. And in the final phase, what we seek to do is to offer a very Infura-like experience where we provide community test nets, diversified over multiple cloud providers. We're already talks with Threefold and a couple other providers on giving us a very diversified number of default options that people can go with. So when you log into the dashboard, you'll see, and you try and launch a node, you will be able to pick between Amazon and Threefold, and we hope, and other partners. So that's kind of what the roadmap looks like right now.
Great. Sounds really exciting. So I noted down Q1 next year. We'll get back to you for sure. We want to host you again and check on the progress and the results.
Yeah, I would love to be able to present that when it's ready.
Superb.
Yeah, it was great. You guys spun up BootNode really quickly, way back in March of 2019, right? With the first version of the Casper node at Consensus. And seeing now the full bore production grade infrastructure with the Kubernetes backend will be really great. It'd be terrific for enterprises to quickly spin up their instances and manage those instances, right? Having that managed service is a big deal to help maintain decentralization.
Yeah, especially when everything is done through the same portal. So it makes migration between different backends much easier.
Yep. Terrific. That's great. Looking forward to it. Piotr, do we have anything else on the docket, or can we call it done?
Yeah, I think we can call it done.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. And we are looking for feedback on the format. We want this format to be really engaging and really a quick, dense synopsis of what's happening in the ecosystem and what we're doing to, broaden the adoption and use of Casper. Our goal is to be very transparent and to give you a good, meaty update every week. We may move away from the live stream, but we are open to feedback, right? So send us your feedback on Telegram. Let us know what you think, and hope to see you on the call soon. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.